Hello, welcome to the Iron Dinos podcast. I am Shaun. I am speaking like a robot for no good reason. I'm having another run at that. Hang on.
I am Jason.
Hello, welcome to the Iron Dinos podcast, or the Dinocast as we like to call it. I'm Shaun and I'm joined with Jason.
Hello.
Adam.
Yo.
Hello.
Howdy,
Hey.
partners.
We all good?
Yeah.
Oh, you know. Yes, I'm fine, thank you. It's good to be back. Another month. Another chat.
Oh, yes.
More games with gold.
More games of gold.
Should we crack up with games
Speaking
of gold?
of which, let's do it.
Ooh, welcome to the Games of Gold
Jason,
October
bring the thunder.
2021. We have 4 games this month. Aaero, Hover, Castlevania Harmony of Despair, and Resident Evil Code Veronica X. Don't forget the X.
I am really happy.
Are
I
you?
thought you would be.
Is it related to what I'm talking
I'm
about?
going to let the cat out of the bag right away. I am very happy with this crop of games. So, without further ado, Jason, introduce the first one.
I'm sure the one you're most excited for is Aaero, which is a forward-flying rhythm-action twin-stick rail shooter where the music is important and you go through levels and you shoot stuff. And looks fun. Never heard of it before. What do you think?
Me either, but it looks gorgeous. And I'm not averse to a bit of rhythm action, so I'm actually quite into it. I thought when I was first watching the trailer, I thought it looked a little bit like Race the Sun. And then
Yes.
it went mental, and there was like light, there was like neon everywhere, and it was going crazy. And then there was a boss. Oh, yeah, it looks fun. It looks a lot of fun.
Fight the Sun.
It kind of reminds me of a really old game on the Super Nintendo that I can't for the life of me remember the name of it, but you play as a fox and you're in like a starfighter type jet
Star
like
Fox.
this. And...
Yeah, Star Fox.
Oh, is that what it's? Oh,
Fox in the Starfighter. It's called Star Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite famous.
but
do a barrel roll.
Starwing in Europe.
I already knew the name without even knowing it. So yeah, it really reminded me of that, and so yeah, I'm quite digging
To a
this.
degree, I think this is more a case of your ship is on rails, if I'm not
Okay.
wrong.
I believe so. Don't know much about the game. I think you've got to stick to the ribbons of light, and I'm assuming
Yeah.
it's based on the music that you have to not go off of the tune. I don't know how it works. I'm excited to find out. We'll see.
It's apparently got loads
They
of
do.
like tracks on it and music tracks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Great, we can't do a video then, or the video will be taken down, along with the rest of the channel.
But I can tell you, if you are interested, it was...
Nobody's interested, don't tell us.
Well, I'm going to tell you anyway.
What is it, Adam? I need to know.
It was first released on the 11th of April 2017. The devs are Mad Fellows, published also by Mad Fellows. I believe they're just a 2-man team in Britain, I believe.
That's the name of the team. Is it Mad Fellows? That's not what you're deciding they are. Come
No,
on,
no,
Mad
no.
Fellows.
I'm calling them Mad Fellows. No, that's their name, Mad Fellows.
Yes, I believe they're British.
Yeah.
And that's as far as my research went. So that's good. Looks like a good game, though. I'll give it a go. Should we move on to Hover?
Yes.
Hover is a futuristic, cartoony parkour game. We're set in an open world. It's got single player. It's got multiplayer. There's some kind of story about rebellion and stuff. I don't know how much that plays into it. But I actually quite like the look of this. If it plays like I think it plays, I hope it plays, I might enjoy it.
Are you hoping it plays like Jet Set Radio?
A little bit.
Because I got big Jet Set Radio vibes off this, and I had that on my Dreamcast, and I absolutely loved it. So, yeah, again, I legitimately think this could be a new speedrunners for us. If we had the time, the inclination, and we needed that kind of series again.
I thought that very same thing.
Yeah, I really like the look of it. I like the aesthetic. I like the sound. And if, as Jason says, he hit the nail on the head. If it looks like it plays the way we're both thinking it plays, then it's going to be a hell of a lot of fun.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, as soon as I saw it, I was thinking speedrunners myself. And I just thought, yeah, this looks a lot of fun that you can have with your mates. Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you can play it online with just other random people as well, because there was a few clips in the trailer that I watched, like with loads of different names and stuff.
On the bio, on the blurb on Xbox, it says this online multiplayer. So,
cool.
I can't see why you wouldn't be able to play with everyone from around the world.
Yeah, no, that looks quite fun as well. It was released 31st of May 2017. The devs are Fusty Game and Midgard Studios. That is true. Fusty Games. I'm not.
You're making these names up.
I'm not. I swear. Published.
It's just like when he's trying to describe Zone of Enders and he was just making words up and shit. He's just like.
I thought
nonsense.
I did a perfect job on that.
I preferred it when every game every month was by the same company. That was much easier. Anyway, carry on.
Well, they're published by Plug-in Digital, Dear Villagers, and PM Studios. I'm not making these names up, I swear.
Fair enough. Cool. Anyway, it's Halloween. Well, it's not Halloween.
2 for 2.
It's October, which is getting near Halloween, which brings us to a couple more games on a spookier theme. Hopefully. First one, Castlevania, Harmony of Despair.
Yes!
Sean's not sure about this one.
I love Metroidvania games. I love these games.
I know you do.
I haven't played this one.
Oh,
because around this time I was playing. I've been playing Lords of Shadow 2, which was the not very good Lords of Shadow, but Castlevania, the Metroidvania Castlevanias have pretty much exclusively released on systems I don't have. So,
despite you.
Symphony of the Night came out and basically went, haha, here's this amazing genre that everyone's going to love. We've taken the Metroid bits, we've infused Castlevania bits, it's going to be awesome. Didn't have a PlayStation. They then all went over to the Game Boys, the Game Boy Advance and the DS and the like. Didn't have those. I've got them now, but that doesn't do me a lot of good. So then they put it over to, this Harmony of Despair came over to the Xbox, and I just didn't get round to it because there were loads of other games to play, so I'm very, very excited for it. It is a game type I love. It's a genre. There's a bunch of different names. So the easiest thing, most commonly used in the, most commonly thrown out there is Metroidvania. But you know what you're getting: giant map. You go around. You slowly level up. You obtain new outfits and powers and the like to be able to traverse more of the map, to go back and find secrets you missed earlier on, to power up to eventually get to this final glorious end boss. But yeah, it's a genre that I've become a massive fan of in the last 5 years or so. I'd not really played much of any of them. Like, I managed to miss Super Metroid when I had a SNES, which is a slight precursor to it. But a friend of mine, well, my then housemate, said, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, which was on the Xbox 360, it was on cheap. And I'd not played it, and I played it, so I then went, oh, that's great. Then I got my NES Classic and played Metroid, and then I got my SNES Classic and played Super Metroid, and I played Hollow Knight, and I played Bloodstained quite recently, and like Toho Luna Nights, and all of these other fantastic Metroidvanias. So here is another one for me for free, and I am so happy for this. Look forward to my Metroid video coming soon, by the way. Pluggity plug.
I can tell you're
wow.
for this
Also,
one.
Metroid Dread!
Yeah, totally.
Metroid Dread is next week! Oh my god. Sorry, I'm back off the ledge.
Well, I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear then that it was the devs for this one are Konami, published by Konami.
Yep.
And it was first released on 4th of August 2010. Yeah, so it's an old one.
Can you clear something up for my Shaun? That's what I said in that accent.
Have you messed yourself? I'm not cleaning that up again. We couldn't look each other in the eye for a month.
Sorry, I've got a man for that. It's fine. So this game apparently has co-op modes and multiple playable characters. Did the old games have that?
The multiple playable characters is a recurring trope, but not co-op.
Oh.
I won't be playing this in co-op. That's not how I like to play these games. I love you boys,
You
but
loner.
piss off. This is me time.
This is yours.
Okay. I might bring something to the party, but okay. I know I won't. You're right. I've only played the Castlevanias that have come on to the Games with Gold. I don't know if this is the third one. It might be the third one. It could only be the second one. Who knows? I've not played much of those, but I enjoyed what I played. It's fair enough. I'm nowhere near as excited as Shaun, but I don't think anyone could be. But I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's it looks quite good. I've not played many of the Castlevania ones before, so I think I've only played one or two on the series. But you'll be able to get this from October the 1st to October the 15th.
Lovely. Dramatic pause. Next one. More spooky, more Halloween, more Sorry. It's more Halloween stuff with Resident Evil Code Veronica X. I understand the X.
Yes!
The X is now in HD, is what the X means, I believe. Which means 360 level, is what that means. So watch out. We're in 360 graphics territory.
I think the X actually meant, because that was supposed to be a console-specific Resident Evil for the Dreamcast.
Yes.
The Dreamcast did not do well, so they wanted to put it to the PlayStation 2. So I think they had to put an X in the title and add additional content to get around the contract with Sega to be able to release it on a different system.
Yeah, this was actually the
enough.
first in the series to be released on the Dreamcast away from the PlayStation as well.
It was the only one.
Yeah.
Still the first.
But yeah, this was the first Resident Evil game I ever played, which you may have mentioned before when we when Resident Evil the remake was made free a month or so ago, a couple of months ago even. But yeah, I'm really excited to get my hands on this again because I like to play games in a particular way, and this is one of those games where I don't like to carry... If I can avoid it, I prefer not to carry the biggest of guns that takes up the most slots in the inventory. I prefer to take a smaller gun and a knife or something like that so I can stealth around and blah, 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 blah. All well and good. So I got to the end boss of this game and I literally couldn't kill it. And I spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I just didn't have the weaponry for it. And a grenade launcher opens up during the fight. And I didn't have the weapons to hold the little things at bay enough for me to get the rocket launcher to kill the fucking boss. So I've never completed it.
Ooh.
I've never got past the end boss.
Oh.
So I've never seen the end cinematic, and I've still got my Dreamcast. I've still got my I still got the game. I've always meant to go back to it at some point, but you know that back then you had memory cards which were little LCD displays, and they had little batteries that ran out relatively quickly, so I'm sure my save data is lost. So this is a perfect opportunity for me to go back and beat Resident Evil Code Veronica, brackets X, close brackets,
Now in HD.
parentheses, in HD, close parentheses.
So I've got a little confession on this series. I've never played.
You created it.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a millionaire.
God damn.
I wish. So I've never played a Resident Evil game. Ever.
Were you
Please
not
don't
around
kill
for the one when we did the last one for Games Ago?
I didn't play it.
Fair enough.
I made that video.
Yeah, Shaun did that one.
I
So
still played it.
yeah, please don't kick me from the channel. But I can tell you, it was released on 2000 on the Dreamcast, and it's obviously devs are Capcom and published by Capcom. So yeah, this has been on my list of game series to play for a long time. So this might be a good opportunity to get into the series. So yeah, looking forward to this one.
Sean, would you say this is a good entry point?
Yeah, it was my entry point, and I absolutely loved it. Loved it so much I've actually never played another Resident Evil game all the way through. But that's because basically they did the Resident Evil remake, which I got quite far in, and then got Eternal Darkness Soundrealty's Requiem, which is a very similar game style, but just grabbed me a bit more, probably because it wasn't almost 10-year-old game at that point. And then the Resident Evil game switched into a more action-focused thing, and I get my action fix elsewhere, so I kind of didn't go with it. But I will be playing this. I will do my damnedest to beat it. I don't know when I'm going to be able to slot it in, so it might be a year or two from now. But yeah, I'm very excited for this and all of this month's Games of Gold releases. I think this is a really solid lineup for someone like me. 2 games I've never played before, both look interesting and look like the kind of things I'd want to play. A Castlevania, one of my current genres of choice, which I've not played before, lovely. And Resident Evil Code Veronica, something that's been niggling at the back of my head for years, go back and beat me. So yeah, really happy. What do you guys think?
When I first saw it, I wasn't that intrigued. However, I don't know if you've talked me more into it, or if I've just become more accustomed to it. I'm actually quite excited now. Just the Castlevania and the Code Veronica ones. I'm not amazed by those because I've heard of them. I've played bits of the old Resident Evils. It was fine. I've played bits of the old Castlevania. It was fine, but it's not a game that drags me in and says this is the thing you want to play. The 2 new ones are actually exciting me quite more. Just because they look like the kind of thing I can dip in and out of when I want to, which is exactly what I want at the moment, and just have a laugh with, and they look quite bright and colourful and might be fun. So yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, apart from Resident Evil, which, as I've said, like I've been wanting to play the series for quite a while. Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued by these other games. Not really my sort of game I'd normally pick up, so yeah, I might be pleasantly surprised. So looking forward to it.
So how does it compare to last month's games then?
Like this! Warhammer! What did you guys think?
Ah! This is the game I played least of. I got an idea of what it was. It reminded me of the previous Warhammer game we'd played. It's all right. Didn't entice me enough to keep going. I will say I didn't look up the artists who did all the artwork because there's a lot of storytelling and narration and introduction. Well, particularly at the beginning. And I noticed that the artwork style, I don't know if they had the same artist, but it was over the course of many, many years, and he just got better, but in a different sequence to the ones they show them. Or because they were all roughly the same style, but the first one they show, I really like the art style with all the characters had good emotions and it was bright and in your face and good stuff. Not bright, they're all the same colours. And then as the different cutscenes came in, they changed it to like a lesser skilled artist was doing some of those, and it just threw me off a bit. And each different time they did a different bit of the story. It seemed like a slightly different artist. Or, as I say, like an artist from when they were 10, from when they were 17, from when they were 25. And it's just sort of showing as they carried on and evolved and became a really good artist. They were all good. They were all artistic and they all showed talent, but there were different levels of I was happy with. That's not about the game, but it's an introduction to the game. It was fine. I played the Wood Elf Archer Woman, and yeah, it's fine. But I didn't enjoy the last one. I never went back to the last one, and I don't think I will go back to this one.
Fair enough. I quite enjoyed it. I actually went back to it after I stopped playing on the video plug. And and yeah, I think I got another 2 or 3 levels in, and I quite enjoyed it. I don't think I'm going to finish it, if I'm honest. Even though I enjoyed it, I don't think it's quite enough to hold me. But yeah, it's a perfectly good game. If you're a fan of the series, I can firmly imagine you're going to enjoy that one. So yeah, I enjoyed it.
Cool. I've got to be honest, because it's Warhammer, I kind of glossed over the cutscenes a bit because I knew it was going to be very world heavy and very exposition based, and really I'm probably not gonna. It's an isometric kind of hack and slash. You guys all know it's not really my cup of tea, so I knew I wasn't going to get into that. But a couple of things really struck me. One, the choose your character screen, character select, did an excellent job just in the pictures of showing exactly what each of those characters' playstyles was going to be.
Yeah.
So, like, you could, sure, a little bit you could take from other things in the fantasy genre you'd seen, but when I got to the Wood Elf, I knew that was exactly the playstyle I was going to want to be. She had the small daggers, she had, like, the slightly darker clothes, so she looked a bit kind of stealthy, and she had a bow and stuff, so I knew exactly what I was getting. And then when you click on them once, it then comes up with a load of text explaining what that game play style is going to be.
Yep.
I really, really liked that. I thought that was a great introduction. If you don't know what you kind of want, there's a lot to pick from. I think there was like 7 or 8 to pick from, and they're all really, really clear as to what exactly you're going to be getting into, even though it's the same kind of game for all of them. You know, they're not rejig the entire style of game for each of them. You knew what you were getting, and you could pick a style more to your preference, and I really like that because I really, really enjoyed playing as her. One thing I found quite funny, to the point that I kept doing, like, I love a dodge roll in these games.
Oh yes.
In pretty much any hack and slash, I really enjoy a dodge roll. I think it's critical part of an arsenal. I prefer it to a block, actually. But dear God, the screen tear at some areas when I used it in this, it's like watching an old VHS when it loses its tracking. But
quite an
other than that,
roll, isn't it? Because I was a Wood Elf as well, so it's like something. Whoop,
but I like that. Yeah, I like that. That's what I wanted. And then you get the multi-arrow thing, so you can duck back using that and get a wave in front of you, and then you can fire off a few shots and then duck away. Loved it. Loved playing it. Again, it's because it's not the kind of game that I tend to like. I'm probably not going to finish it, but I think I will actually go back to it and play probably another couple hours, because I just really enjoyed the style of the game, and the feel of the combat I found really satisfying. I thought they got a great balance. Same with I recently played Hades.
Oh yeah,
it's got great plaudits. My friend's been telling me to play it. I'm really not a fan of roguelikes. I'm not a fan of a game where you progress a certain way and then when you die you have to start the whole thing over again. It frustrates me after a while. I feel like I'm wasting my time. But that the playstyle in that was also quite it was somewhat similar to this, but it had a similar fluidity. It felt really nice really natural, and really responsive to play, which, if I'm going to be playing this kind of isometric view game, is pretty much the first thing I want. I want my characters to move exactly as I expect them to move. You can say that about any game, I guess, but
yeah, I
find it more of a problem in the isometric gaming space than I do in other genres. But I found this really nice to control, so I will go back to it, and I will hack my way through a few more areas, and I'm quite excited to fight a few more bosses. I love a boss.
Yeah, on the characters, I'm assuming they've added more characters as they went.
They did, yes, because I watched the thing where they introduced a new character at one point in the history.
Right, yeah, because when you do the research to this, like some research says, right, you can pick from 4 characters. Another one then says you can pick from 5 characters, and then it goes on to you can pick from 6 characters. I'm like, okay, so how many characters are there?
And I think there was some DLC ones as well.
Yeah, yeah. So it seems like a game that they've continued to like update type thing. So
I think I've also redone some of the voice acting because I know at least one of the characters got a lot of stick for how bad it was. And apparently they've
Oh, really?
They've either redone it or possibly got someone else to do it. I don't know.
Is this positive change, though, or is it like that time Skyrim took out the arrow to the knee line because everyone made a meme of it and we were all like, boo!
Did they
we
take
like
that
the
out?
arrow to the knee thing. Yeah.
Why would they do that?
They took a couple of really weird lines out.
Oh, disgusted. I don't know why they... I mean, I think they changed it because it just was flat and not entertaining. I thought the voice acting was okay. The main narrator guy, I think he's probably a talented bloke, but he was steaming through it so fast.
Oh, yeah. It was quick.
There's a hell of a lot of lore and exposition.
I know, but he sounded like he was just, get to the end, next page. Like he's reading to his son. He wants
It's
to
one
just go
of those
to
things
bed,
where
kid.
you've got to service the fans who have played every game, read every campaign book, read the additional external media and have followed this franchise for years. And the dude picking this up for the first time. That's not easy. And I think I'm sure they've managed to do a good job here. Like I said, I skipped a lot of it because it's not something I'm going to get into, so I just wanted to get to the game. I didn't want my opinion of the game. Sometimes my opinion of the game can be hampered when I'm annoyed by the amount of cutscenes before it lets me get to the game.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to prejudice my opinion of the actual game itself by sitting through 20 minutes of cutscenes about stuff that's not going to sink in, that's not necessarily going to be germane to the 2 hours I play of this, you know?
I like to believe that whatever they put in is intended to be there to shape my impression of what's happening. Because a lot of games rest on basic mechanics against the story. So I do think a lot of games overdo it.
But all of those have the presumption that you're going to play the whole game. And that's not how I was going into this.
I might play the whole game if I'm invested in the story. That's what gets me through a lot of bad games. We'll see.
Games aren't made for you to trial and decide if you want and then, like, because you've got them for free on Games of Gold. Games are made for you to pay 40 quid to buy and then complete.
Oh, if I'm spending money, I'm watching every damn second of that cutscene. I'm savouring every word. I paid money for that.
That's what I'm saying.
I think they could do more show, not tell. They don't have to say every word and describe every character's voice and action. He came here and he did this and he held up a lofty sword and said, by the power of Grayskull, he didn't say that. And then this man came in and then we took over the land and then it could just like show a clip of them storming over the battlements. Done. That's all you need. Too much, is what I say.
Yeah, but what you're doing there is you're pissing off the people who are there for the lore. Or I'd love to think, I'd love to think that Warhammer is so... Like, maybe someone can tell us in the comments if you've got this far and you're a big Warhammer guy. Like, I'd love to think that every piece of the Warhammer extended universe is properly canon. So there are, like, people coming into this game who have played a campaign based on a book that has all the stuff from that beginning cutscene, and like a few of these characters you can play as, or a few of the non-playable characters more likely are characters from that book, say 20 years after all of that stuff was resolved to the point it got resolved, and now you're playing something that is canon but after a role-playing game campaign book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Am I making sense?
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if this is canon. So the guys have played through, they've created all their own campaigns based on these books, and all the books have this, that, you know, everything you could possibly want. So they've retold, like, a vague version of what you would do in a campaign, because you don't want to piss off people who have specific headcanon. And then this is a continuation. I'd love to think that it all works like that, because that's what they always bullshit, like Disney bullshit with Star Wars. Oh yeah, everything's canon now, but one thing's not informing another. But if you want to take it that way, actually they're trying to make it somewhat so you can make everything canon, if that makes sense.
I think it's good if you can. on.
Mulaka!
Mulaka?
Adam, I'm going to let you lead this. You made a video.
Do you know what? When this first came up, I believe I said I wasn't too sure about it or something along those lines. I'm sure someone can correct me if I didn't say that. But I remember thinking I wasn't too sure, and as soon as I turned it on, I fell in love with this. This was, or is, such a good game. It really brings you in really nice on a really nice like tutorial. So it's not like you're in some sort of separate room where you got to learn the tutorial before actually getting to the game. It's almost like you're in the game straight away, but learning as you go along. And they even start to insert like some of the mythological lore straight away. And the art style on it, I mean, I know I bang on about art style in a game quite a lot, but for me, that's quite important to a game. And this, they nailed it. Like the style of it is absolutely fantastic. All the controls really, really easy to use, and even though, as you see in the video, I actually got some of them blatantly wrong. Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of this, and I will be going back to this time and time again. In fact, I have done already. So yeah, this is a huge thumbs up for me.
Well, I've just realised I've not actually watched your video yet. So right after this,
my God,
I'll be clicking on that video, and I suggest everybody else does too. So I had no idea what your opinion was. I liked it. It was pleasant. It was inoffensive. It held my interest. I have no idea how long I was playing it. I was playing it one afternoon, and it could have been a couple of hours. I have no idea. I gave up, not because I was bored or because it was annoying me, but just because I had to do other things. I think it could do with some more well-rounded characters, a bit more going on. It's quite empty areas. You basically walk around, find stuff, do basic auto-crafting, I'll call it, where you just walk over a bush and it starts making potions and stuff, whatever. Battle characters, sort of battle creatures, unlock areas, fight bosses, that sort of thing. Yeah, it's pleasant. The art style was nice. I didn't think it was outstanding, but good. I got the impression it was more like a cultural learning experience than like a thrill ride. It was just like a relaxing, let's go around here. It had a lot of aspects from games I play, but just much reduced down, I felt. So it is like a case of walk around an open world, well, mostly like an open world, and then just beat stuff up and loot stuff, really. But it's like much, much reduced from like a Zelda or a Assassin's Creed or something like that, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was a pleasant enough experience, and I was happy to play it. Shaun,
I didn't like it at all.
I knew you wouldn't.
I didn't think you would.
Adam, can I ask a question? Do you play many of this kind of game? Like a third-person kind of action with platformy elements and...
Yeah, if I was to pick this type of game, then yes, this would be my sort of genre. I kind of place it in the realms of like... I mean, it's not of the same... budget and quality and in depth as Assassin's Creed, but it's of that sort of same type for me. That would be my go-to game to pick up. So yeah.
Okay, because I've played a lot of games like this, dating back decades, and this felt like cheap and low effort and just like it felt like and perhaps it was. I am considering this on the end products that I played, not on intention or level of skill. Okay, so I've played a lot of games like this. I feel they had a basic graphics pack and a basic control pack that they just plugged together, and they spent their time weaving a way to weaving around that a way to try and introduce the culture they were trying to show. And there's nothing inherently wrong with, like, what interested me when you were talking about it was I thought, okay, so they're going to have this kind of culture thing and, like, it's going to be cool. But you need to do that. You either need to be an educational game or need to do that in an engaging and entertaining way. And I would suggest that was far beyond the talents of the team that made this game. I don't like shitting on games, but I like the first character you see is this kid, and like it doesn't feel. I didn't feel the look of the game was a style. I felt that was the best they could manage to make it look. And then I felt the same with the controls, which are all kind of floaty and imprecise, and then there's the world, which kind of looks quite big, but is actually just quite a big corridor. It just again, I don't like being negative, so I'm not going to carry on for too much longer. But just everything about it felt really not. I don't want to say low effort because I don't know the level of effort that went into it, but it felt very basic and incredibly subpar for the genre it was in.
Okay.
I played 20 minutes and that was all I'm ever going to play of it.
Yeah, I was about to say, how far did you get into it? Was it just the tutorial?
I got through all the tutorial bit, and then it opened out, and you could go start going around a wider area.
Yeah.
And there was collectibles and stuff. I was just like, I'm just done. I don't need to see any more of this. In my video, I didn't get as far as beyond the tutorial, which I wish I would have shown a bit more actually, because it does, as you say, open out, and I see it's quite interesting, different points of view. I think it was purposely done like this in a more simplified way, rather than. I mean, I keep using the Assassin's Creed, but of course Assassin's Creed is so in-depth and so detailed. I think this has purposely pulled away from that type of thing and purposely, as I say, gone more simplified to let your imagination more take over for the mythological side that they're trying to incorporate. Yeah, I think they've just bought some assets. I don't think they've designed a lot.
It's possible.
I think they just saw some stuff that looked like what they wanted and chucked it in there.
That may be the case, but I thought it was a stylistic choice, which may also be the best they could do. But I thought they deliberately gone with what they thought worked, and it, as I think I described it as pleasant and inoffensive. Yes, it wasn't amazing, but it was peaceful. It was nice.
So the reason, one of the reasons I really enjoyed it, sorry to cut in, is the simplicity of how you got to the next bit of the game. So for example, within the tutorial, it was right, learn this skill. And now use this skill, and then move on, and then learn this skill, and then use this skill. But I just thought it done it in a really nice way, and I thought the puzzles weren't exactly hard, but they're sort of challenging enough to make you sort of stop and think, oh, hang on a minute, how's this work? And then you get it, and you go, oh, right, cool. And yeah, I really enjoyed the simplicity side of it, and I think that's why I really fell in love with it. Because it's just, it's. I think it pulls away from the modern day game like Assassin's Creed, where you are thrown into this such a detailed world, and it almost overwhelms you at times with like the detail. Whereas this, it's just a nice, simple like run through, and it teaches you about the culture as well, which I'm always a fan of. So yeah, but different points of view. But yeah,
I take it. My interpretation is that it's for more of a younger audience, and it's to introduce them to this culture, and it's a very gentle way of in. And it does not ramp up, but it does increase in difficulty a little bit as you get further in. You get like the boss battles and whatever, and that sort of thing. It's fine. I don't think I'll go back to it, but I didn't hate it. Sorry, I'm on my fence. I'm not even on the fence. I'm on my fence of just saying it was fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It's a perfectly okay game, but it's nothing special.
You're not on the fence, Jason. Well, okay.
Well, that's not the fence. That's an opinion. I'm sorry. I don't have a passion for it. I don't hate it. I don't love it. That's not on the fence. I've decided that I'm indifferent.
Oh, I love it.
It wasn't a horrible experience, but I didn't rush back the next day.
But this is good. So now you've got the 3 opinions to anyone who's thinking of checking out the game. I thought it was crap. Adam loved it. Jason on the fence.
Which I think.
However, there can be no 4th opinion. You may only choose one of those 3 opinions to have.
No.
That's
if
how
you've got a
works.
4th, 5th, 6th opinion,
No!
Put it in the comments. We'd want to hear
We'll
it.
have to get another Dino, Jason. No.
Three wise monkeys. That's what it is. What's the next game?
Zone of Enders, I believe.
No, it isn't.
Oh, is it not?
I believe it is.
Samurai Shodown 2.
It's a fighting game.
I enjoyed one thing and one thing alone about this game, and I'm going to tell it to you now.
Don't steal my good thing about this game. Go on then, what is it?
Long ago, shut up. Long ago, there was a man who tried to make his soul ultimate because of his bloody life. It's no accident that he was involved in the Troubles. Time has passed since the last trouble. New battles are going to start now again. What is the wind? I feel something bad. This had terrible translation, and it's the only fucking thing I enjoyed about this game.
And it brought a big grin to my face, because that was my same thing I wanted. Long ago, there were a man who tried to make his skill ultimate. And also, in the top of the screen, I'm trying to find what it was. In the top of the screen, the stat is such a long name. It is player with most numerous wins. That's the stat at the top of the screen.
I missed that. Amazing.
Okay, so yeah, it immediately brought a big grin to my face, because it looked to me like a game you'd get if you asked someone today to make a retro style nostalgic game, because it was very not necessarily a great one, but if you wanted to go in your, I could see someone making this today to pretend it was an old game. It's all in your face, exaggerated graphics. Yeah. It was colourful. Everything was over the top. Bad translations. Pow! It says at the bottom of the screen in big letters. You've got everyone's like zooming towards the screen. It's so it really cheered me up. I mean, the fighting bit was just normal fighting game as far as I was concerned. Again, sorry for being on the fence, but it's just another fighting game as far as I'm concerned. I won some fights. I lost some fights. That's how every fighting game goes for me. I'm a bit of a button masher, so I apologise for not learning every intricate detail. I know it's got some extra bits in there, but I didn't give it that long.
Well, I don't know if I got unlucky, because normally, as I've said, it's been an SNK game every month for the past several months, and I normally have enough skill to burn through the campaign with one character or 2 characters, but in this one I never found a character I enjoyed playing as, and I tried 4 or 5, but it's got quite a big roster, so I don't know if I just got unlucky. I don't know if I got snippy because there wasn't some 90s techno stolen and inserted into the soundtrack as far as I could find, but I found this one to be perhaps the most unique of the ones we've been playing recently. But again, if it's down to the fighter I picked or whatever, I found it the least fun. I didn't get on with it particularly well.
Yeah. I feel like all I do on this podcast is hate on all the fighting games. So
yeah, but you love Mulaka.
I do, but so like for this one, I really did try. I swear, I really did try. I actually had 4 fights, which for me, I know that doesn't sound a lot, but for me, that is really going far into a fighting game. I just don't enjoy them. I really don't, and this was by far the worst. Maybe that's because I went 4 like fights into it. I don't know, but yeah, I'm not a fighting game kind of guy, so I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
Great dodgy translations there. Because of his bloody life. Yeah. That's great.
Yes. I'm glad we found. I wish I actually wanted to see some of the endings. I should have looked on YouTube to see some of the endings, because obviously that's going to be told in text as well. So it's probably a load more crazy nonsense. Oh, what a fun. They all say different things when you start the fight, and yes, some of them are ridiculous, but I didn't get a chance to jot them down as I was, playing the game. But I went through those opening sequences. But the point where he says, "What's this wind? I feel something bad." Like, there's this giant fucking flaming demon king right in front of him. It's like, it's probably that! It's probably the giant flaming fucking demon king! Oh, it was so good.
See, this is what you get when you watch the cutscenes of some games. This is the entertainment value you get from it. You don't want to watch the fighting bit. That's boring. You want to watch the introduction with your dodgy translations and misappropriate wind.
I made sure, as per the translation of the game, I made sure to, when I wrote that down, I wrote it all in block capitals as well. Because, Oh, it's so good.
I'm glad we're on the same page with that.
Speaking of so good, the cream of the crop of last month's games, Zone of Enders HD Collection. I don't mind telling you, I watched every second of the cutscene. I was pretty much immediately invested, and I will be completing both of these.
I was going to ask about the cutscenes. I fucking love this. That opening cutscene is like over 5 minutes long. Full animation, full orchestra blaring out, an entire storyline of crap going on, kid getting stuck in a mech suit. There's a lot going on.
And then you start the game and it actually plays most of it again, but with new bits.
That did take a while to get into the game though, didn't it? But enjoyable.
Yeah, but it's Hideo Kojima. I expected nothing less. Look, I don't think it's much of a secret that I'm a bit of an anime fan. So, I think I've already said I've actually watched an anime of this like 15 years ago or something. So this was something I was quite looking forward to, and I expected it to play like arse because I've played Superman games before.
Yeah.
Flying and fighting is normally not good, but I found it really super satisfying in this. And yeah, I was absolutely drawn in by the plot. It was a great big. It was just a great big cluster of anime cliches, but I fucking love anime, so I obviously love the cliches. It's like if you say, "Oh, you're doing a superhero thing, you're putting a cape on them." Yeah, I fucking love that shit. People who fly wear capes, And so yeah, I really got into it. I really liked the combat. I played about 4 hours of it, and I was just like, I need to stop doing this because I've got to play. I played this last specifically because I knew it was either going to really piss me off and I was going to have a lot to say about it, or I was really going to get into it and play a lot of it. So, yeah, really, really happy. What do you guys think?
I was very surprised at how much the flying did not annoy me. I thought it was an old enough game that they wouldn't have like the usual flying mechanics that used to these days, and it'd be like up, down with random buttons and stuff, and I'd get confused, but I didn't really get confused. I'd also had the tutorial, which you can completely immerse yourself in and repeat as much as you want, or ignore completely. And you can just go in and learn different aspects if you wanted to. So I did go through that, just to sort of learn what there is, and everything was fine. And I liked the AI talking to Leo, whatever his name was. He seemed to have a bit of an anti-violence message there, I felt, at the beginning, at the very least. He didn't like killing, did he?
Big tick in the anime cliche box.
He's going around planet shooting things. He's going to kill someone at some point. Anyway.
Reluctantly at first. That's how it works.
And then he gets the power and the rage. No, I didn't get that far into the actual storyline. I played enough to get an idea that, I thought the gameplay was satisfying and fun, and I could carry on with the story.
Yeah,
Adam?
I didn't find this offensive at all. I quite enjoyed the flying mechanics, the fight mechanics. The art style is, as I say, it's basically anime, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's great, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't have a lot of time with it, I will admit, but it's I enjoyed what I played. So yeah, it's good. Thumbs up for me.
And that was last month's Games with Gold. By the time this comes out, you can't get them anymore, so kind of tough if you haven't already got them.
Now you've heard what we think. You can spend actual money on them.
That's true. So other games you guys have been playing?
I've been playing 12 minutes. Have you played 12 minutes?
Oh, do you know what? I just downloaded that to give it a look.
Ooh.
Is it good?
Right, I'm not going to give any spoilers. I enjoyed it.
You're not even going to tell me if it's good or not.
I am. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I played it. I don't think it's brilliant, but I have gone. I've completed it. I've got all the achievements. I've done multiple endings. It's fine. I knew it had some stick from some reviewers, and I can see what they're saying. And it's not. And it's basically a story decision, which won't lay quite well with some people, and also doesn't feel quite thought out in my mind, or at least not as well as it should have been. Other than that, I enjoyed playing it. So if you don't know, it's a time loop style game set in a small apartment. It's all mostly viewed from above anyway. You play a guy who comes home. His wife is there, and then you've got about 5 minutes before there's a knock on the door. And then if you do nothing, basically the wife will end up dead and the loop will start again. I'm not going to give any more information than that. Well, not much anyway. And then it just keeps replaying those minutes over and over again. And you can do as much as you can do before the knock on the door, and you can do as much as you can do after the knock on the door. And it's just a bit Groundhog Day style, where you're basically playing the same period over and over again, learning new information. So you can use that to unlock more things in the next loop. And you can try and have a nice evening with your wife, or you can piss her off, or you can water your plant, or you can go and find things. And it's like, looking through all the cupboards and finding bits. And obviously, the more you question people, you open up more more not skill trees. What's it called? Like when you have a chat and you open up
Story
more lines
branches.
Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, branching dialogue. There you go. Yeah. I enjoyed it, and I probably will play it again. But I can see what the little complaints I've heard are about, and I think you can put extra levels of understanding and meaning to it, which I'm not fully convinced were there by the person that made it. But I think it makes it a better game if you add them to it. Also, it's got like 3 quite big star voices in it. Which is who is it?
Are they spoilers or?
Well, no. The fact that they're only there, as far as I can tell, to get you to buy the game, because they make no difference to the game. In fact, 2 of them you can't even tell it's them. So
Who are they then?
You've got James McAvoy doing standard American bloke voice, so it's not his voice. You've got Daisy Ridley doing standard American woman voice, so you can't tell it's her.
So not her voice.
No. And I forgot
You've got 2
his
Brits
name.
playing standard Americans so far.
Who's the guy? Very famous guy. You know him, Shaun. I know you do. He's in The Lighthouse. He's
Idris Elba.
No, he's in
the
Green
that'll
Goblin.
be the Green Goblin. Defoe, Willem Dafoe.
He's in it. Now
he does all the stuff.
You can tell it's his voice. So
of course you can. He's got an incredibly distinctive voice.
I know, but you can tell it in the role he's playing. He's not like the other 2, where it's just anyone. Not saying it's not well acted. It is well acted, but it could have been anyone. My theory is that they can only be there to make you click on it and go, "Oh, they're quite big stars. I wonder what this game is." Because once you're in the game, apart from a bit of excitable Willem Dafoe acting. There's not really any evidence that someone else couldn't have done the same role. But generally speaking, yeah, it's quite an enjoyable game. A nice little puzzle. It just has some slightly awkward story moments relatively near the end that you might rub you up the wrong way. And then you think, well, is this actually quite a good game or not? But yes, I enjoyed it while I was playing it, and I definitely went back and got all the achievements and all that sort of stuff. So I recommend it.
It interests me the way you said you enjoyed it, in that it was quite good. But you don't, stop me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you play a lot of games all the way through, right?
I will very much. In the old days, I played every game all the way through, whether it was 20 odd hours.
But in the now,
what I like now is this kind of game whereby it doesn't take that long. This is probably effectively it's the same 12 minutes over and over and over again, and you're just adapting how you do it.
So did you sit there and play this for like an hour or two, or did you literally play a loop, fuck off, come back an hour or two later?
No, you have to play like 10 loops at least to even get an idea of what you do about it.
Right.
Or even to make a progress, you have to sort of unlock things gradually in certain loops, find things, then question someone about it, then that opens up another thing. So you have to do that sort of thing. So I probably played it over the course of 3 days. I did go back to it, and I was thinking about it when I wasn't playing it. So I'd go to bed, and I'd be thinking about, well, maybe I should have done that. What if I'd done that? That sort of thing. So it did stick with me. And I was quite eager to get back and explore things and then find out, they do work. There was one moment where I got stuck for an embarrassingly long time, and it was the usual point-and-click adventure problem whereby I just couldn't... There was one thing that happens where you can select a thing to click on, but you can only do it within a time frame of maybe 3 or 4 seconds. And I never saw that it was an option. And that's the only bit I got stuck on. I mean, sorry, I probably got stuck on other bits, but that's the only bit I got stuck on and felt like I don't know what I'm going to do here. I feel like I'm just sort of treading water. When I suddenly saw that option, it was like, oh, yeah, now it's all fine, and now I can do that, and I can do that, and that opens that thing. But yeah, I did get to a point where I felt I'd done everything I could possibly do in the game, explored every inch of that apartment, and could not see what I needed to do. And then it was like, oh, there's an option to do a thing. Okay, I'll do that then.
So is it like... Oh, correct me if I'm totally wrong, and I might have got lost here, but it's basically like Groundhog Day.
You can look at it like that, yeah. So it's the same events that will play out. If you do nothing, the other characters will do the same thing over and over again. There'll be the same roll of thunder outside the window at the same time, that sort of thing. Things will happen the same way. If you do something, you may be able to affect some of those things, and it will happen differently.
Right. Is the idea to get out of that loop? Is that the idea, or
the idea is to play the game. I suppose the goal. Yeah, the goal is to, because essentially what happens is I say, if you do nothing, your wife ends up dying very quickly, and it just suddenly you're back entering the room again. And every time he restarts, he does react a bit differently, a bit like the Groundhog Day thing, whereby he just like smashing the alarm clock and that sort of thing. He's like, "Urgh!" and then you'll try things, and they'll seem like the right thing to do, and it still will fail, and he'll sort of react to it as like, "I thought that was the thing I would have wanted." No, no, it's enjoyable enough. It's what it says. I'd say it's quite a basic game. I would play this through to the end because it was relatively simple. I think I've said it's about 8 hours. I've definitely replayed the entire thing through once I knew exactly what to do and when to do it. Probably took me about a couple of hours, maybe, I don't know. But then obviously that's, the whole point is learning and opening up the things as you go. And there is a story there. And it's quite nice that you can do things just to try things out. Like you can have a nice meal with your wife if you want. You can have a dance. You can... I'm not going to go into any further, but there's little things you can try out which aren't relevant to the plot. And I think there's 3 definite endings. I think there's one proper ending. There's 2 others which count as an end of the game, and then there's a few others which cause achievements which could be considered endings but aren't really endings, and then it just starts again.
Right, okay.
Cool. Did you play Minute when it was on Game Pass?
I have downloaded it, and I don't even know if I started it. It's one of the games I wanted to play. but no, it's a similar thing to this, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah, very much.
It intrigues me.
It's a minute.
It's not 12 minutes. It's a minute. Okay.
A minute. Yeah, I really liked that. I played a couple of hours of it, or maybe a bit less. Got to a point where I got stuck, like you. I meant to go back to it, and then it was taken off Game Pass. Like, oh, okay, fine. I need to buy it, I guess. Goes really good. A similar premise.
Yeah, I'm quite into little, like, shortish puzzle games now. So I've downloaded a few more, which I'll be giving a go to in the upcoming months.
Nice.
And you want to give us the name of, or just gonna leave it?
So, well, Myst, because Myst is a very old game. Very
famous.
The very first game I played when I got a PC, the very first PC gaming I ever did, was Riven, which is a sequel to Myst.
Yeah.
And I played all through that, and I've never played Myst. And I thought, and it suddenly cropped up the other day on Game Pass or whatever, so I thought, I'll give that a go. Looks very similar to the Riven. Is it Superliminal, where it's like all perspective-based puzzles?
Yeah, I grabbed that as well.
Yeah, I've not played it yet, but I'm looking forward to that.
No, me either. But I've seen it's either a trailer for that or the trailer to something very, very similar. So you can move the camera around the room, and as you do it switches all the perspective and stuff. Yeah, it looks super cool.
I'll be honest, I was going to play it the other night, and it was so late, I thought I can't play it just before I go to bed, because I know what my mind's like. It will get my mind in that state, and I'll be dreaming about twisting perspective puzzles, which can be fun, but I really didn't need it that night. Yes. Adam, you been playing anything?
I've had a sort of a session of going back to games that I've played previously. So I went back to 2 Point Hospital.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I quite, as you know, I quite like the building simulator things, and this one is just a ton of silly fun, really. I mean, you've got you got patients walking around with pans on their head, and like you got to fix them, and there's like patients with light bulbs on their heads, and now they've sort of added this monster mash, so like you got like a load of Frankensteins wandering about your hospital. And it's just the way they fix them as well is quite hilarious. So the room for doing the light bulb, they literally pick up the guy, unscrew his head, which is a light bulb, chuck that away, and then reanimate a new head. It's just silly fun. And then you've got like the latest level I was doing actually was really hard. It was this castle, and part of this castle was there's hauntings on a regular basis, and anyone who's played the game, the ghosts just make a real mess of everything, and they like spawn in at like I think 5-6 of them at a time on this one, and it's just really difficult to get your money right with how many janitors you need to clean them up. But then with that, then the people start doing such stupid stuff, like the announcement will all of a sudden go, well, patients, please use toilets provided instead of using the corridors. And I'm like, what? I'll go along, and there's like a patch of wee on the floor and like a turd in the middle of the hallway. I'm like, for crying out loud, like the toilet's right there. Yeah, it's just a ton of silly fun, really. And then that was made in the style of the Bullfrog game from the late 90s. Yes.
Which I can't remember. Yeah, I want to say Theme Hospital, but it wasn't Theme Hospital, was it? It was called something else. But that game, the Bullfrog one, was the first PC game I ever owned.
Oh, cool.
Came with my first proper home PC.
Oh, sweet.
That one I very quickly graduated onto getting graphics card. Well, I was playing stuff like Quake and Doom quite quickly, but yeah, that hospital game will always have a special place in my heart because I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I played hours and hours of it.
Ah, yeah. It's kind of along the same theme, really. I mean, it's just.
Well, I might be wrong. I think some of the team came back for it, but I might be wrong on that.
Oh, okay.
But I know it's the point was it's as close to just being a remake or sequel as they could get without getting sued.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the Wikipedia page. 2 Point Hospital, developed by 2 Point Studios, is considered a spiritual successor to Theme Hospital.
Oh, was Theme Hospital?
It was. I thought it wasn't. I thought it was called something else.
I thought it wasn't because theme park and that.
Yeah. Okay. But
cool.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Yeah. So, and then I went back to Assassin's Creed Chronicles China, which is like.
Oh yeah. I never finished
yeah. It's neither did I. So, it's kind of an offshoot. It's not really considered one of the main Assassin's Creed games.
If I recall, that's the year Ubisoft said we're not doing another Assassin's Creed game, and then they released 3 2.5D ones or something.
Yeah. It's a really nice style. It's just kind of a nice break from the normal Assassin's Creed. So it kind of reminds me of old school platforming, really, but with like a 3D element to it, where you can actually move deeper into the screen. So you can take a path that will move you deeper, and then you're back onto like the normal platforming type thing. So yeah, I went back to that. That's kind of a great little game. And then no, I'm not finished. I've got more. I went back to.
So one sec.
Go on.
I was just going to say, I think all 3 of them at one point or another were Games of Gold, right?
Oh, were they? Oh, cool.
I definitely own all 3.
Yeah, I think I own all 3, and that's the only way I'd own all 3.
Let me have a look. Yes,
I might have paid for one
it says gold. It says gold underneath it. So yeah. Well remembered.
I think I actually own more Assassin's Creed games by Games of Gold than I've ever bought.
Well, I bought a surprising amount away.
I bought 3 of the first 4. I managed to obtain a copy of the original game because I actually hated the first game.
Oh, right.
When I first played it, I thought it was. I couldn't get. My problem was that all of it looked so good and so aesthetically
pleasing.
Correct? Is that the word I'm looking for? It all looked fine and it all looked great. And as soon as you got the your ancestor didn't do this, or you got to like an invisible wall there, the panels, it completely broke the immersion to the point that it brought me out of the game and annoyed me.
Yeah.
And then I went back to it like a year or so later because I'd borrowed a friend's copy because I'd heard the buzz of it. And then I managed to obtain a copy a while later. And I was like, I went in knowing that was coming and I fucking loved it.
Yeah.
It makes sense after you get the first couple of Desmond things.
Yes.
Because obviously all the original marketing was you're going to be in this ancient land doing this ancient thing.
Yeah.
And I just felt the way they brought the sci-fi in, when I first played it, I felt the way they brought the sci-fi in was a big glowing red flag saying, this is a limitation of the game. We can't program more than this. Whereas the second I went in with the mindset knowing that was going to be there of, okay, well, they have quite cleverly wove into the plot. Like, that is what they're doing. Like, they literally can't program all of this fucking entire country for you to run around in. So they had to do something. And winding it into the narrative of, oh, your ancestor hadn't been there at this point because magic blood is nonsense, but that's fine. Your ancestor hadn't been there, so he doesn't know what it looks like, so he can't go there. That's actually quite an eloquent way to tie that up.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I thought it was as well. Quite a nice way to slot that in there. But yeah, no, I got on board with that sort of element of it, knowing that they were, they went into so much detail that, it would be impossible to create, like, as you say, this whole entire world for you to run around in. So yeah, I really sort of fell in love with the series from the first game.
Or you could do the Bethesda thing, which is have this big, beautiful, massive open world, and then just suddenly an invisible wall that says you cannot go that way.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember finding that the first time, and I was really proud of myself. I'm like, I've broken the boundary of a game. This is incredible. And then, like, more cynically in later games, like, oh, you've got the same thing, have you? Or, okay, this entire thing is in some kind of massive crater and you can't climb out of the crater. Seems a bit sus. Oh, there just happens to be buildings walling right around this entire fucking destroyed wasteland, which is why you can't get out of it. Sus.
Yeah, exactly.
But I fucking love those games.
Yeah.
I take that shit in stride.
And then there was a game I downloaded quite a while ago because I saw one of the YouTubers that I follow playing it, and I thought I'd really like to play that, so I downloaded it. I hadn't played it, and that's King's Quest.
I think I know that one.
Yeah, so
the Sierra reboot.
Yeah, it's a night to remember
thing.
Yeah, click and click. Yeah.
Yeah.
I played through that chapter 1. So I need to get the other chapters, but yeah.
I've played through chapter 1 because I think it was a Games of Gold years ago. Or I might have just bought it because I was really excited for it.
Yeah, really enjoyed that. That was thoroughly enjoyable. Really good storyline. Really, just bags of fun and relatively quick to get through like chapter 1. So so I kind of went back to a few games. So yeah.
Yeah, that's a really mixed bag, mate.
Yeah. What about you? What have you played?
As has been standard for the past month or so, we've been doing this. I'm putting the finishing touches to Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, which I'm only playing for a couple of hours each weekend. I'm at something like 86% of the collectibles, and I know I must be getting near the end of the plot because it's Nintendo. Nintendo have always got this thing of things goes in threes. So you start with 3 bounty hunters of a similar grade to yourself. I've beaten all of those. There are 3 of these seeds which are creating the poison. I've destroyed 2 of them, but I've found the way through to the 3rd. So I've got to be zeroing in on the end point now. So I'm just going back now that I've got, I believe, all of the upgrades, so I'm just popping back and having a look for bits I might have missed and this, that and the other and then head to the end game.
Nice.
And in the week when I've been playing a bit of keep talking. Sorry, I've been playing a bit of Keep Talking, Nobody Explodes with Jason. I've been playing Maneater, which will for the channel, which will be a video coming up soon. I've been playing something else for the channel, which is going to launch at the end of next week, as part of my little celebration for the release of Metroid Dread. I'm so excited, but that's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm not starting, other than Metroid Prime 3 Corruption, which I want to beat before and will beat before Dread comes out. I didn't want to start anything new to properly play because I want my schedule clear for Metroid Dread, because when that comes out, I'm just going to play that until I've 100%ed it. I've also been chipping away at my new playthrough of Deus Ex Mankind Divided. Amazing game, but again, I've already played through it twice. I played through it twice when I first got it, so this is just kind of achievement whoring and stuff, and just loving being in that world again, because the Deus Ex games are amongst my favourites. So yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Nice.
With my time.
Keeps you busy.
Movies and TVs? Anyone watched anything?
Well, a little bit of both, actually. Did we all hear about... I'm a bit late to the party, but I recently heard that Idris Elba has been cast as Knuckles in Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie.
What?
Well excited for that. I love Idris Elba, and I loved that first Sonic movie. It was really, really fun. I've watched it several times.
Same, yeah.
So yeah, adding him into it is just fucking awesome.
I didn't see the first Sonic, and when you just said Idris Elba is playing him, I just imagined him in a costume. I just didn't think he's probably doing a voice, isn't he? I thought, how is that going to work? He's going to be stupid looking. And then I remembered what Sonic is and thought, no. Okay, it's probably that. Yeah, fine.
You know Idris Elba was in that Cats movie, right?
I do. It's not going to be like that, surely.
I'm now kind of wishing it was.
Oh,
okay,
dear.
and following on from that, I got in quite late last Thursday because I went to the IMAX to see Ghost in the Shell, the 1995 anime classic, one of my favourite movies of all time. Got back to Nintendo Direct, where they announced a Mario Brothers movie.
Oh, wow, cool.
What?
Yeah, it's going to be
this.
by DreamWorks, who, let's face it, are kind of the third, maybe fourth tier guys who make these cartoon animated movies for kids. But they've got some belters under their belts. They've got some good ones under their belt. They've got some belters under their napkins. They've got some hats under their socks. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. Basically, there's going to be a Mario movie. It's going to be a cartoon, and Chris Pratt is playing Mario, and Charlie Day is playing Luigi. Is one of my favourite bits of casting ever. And Jack Black is playing Bowser, and Seth Rogen is playing fucking Donkey Kong. It's going to be awesome.
Excellent.
I can see that working.
Excellent.
That is, with the exception of Chris Pratt, who I really love as an on-screen presence, but I think as a voice actor, I don't think he's got a distinctive enough voice to carry a movie, even though I love the Lego movies and stuff like that.
He's done the Lego movies, he's done something else as an animated one, hasn't he?
Yeah, I just find his voice acting a little bland, but yeah, I'm hoping he's going to put on... basically what I want is Bob Hoskins again. Like that
ain't happening.
That is the Mario voice to me. And like my buddy who is a bit of a fanboy of all this stuff is like, well, they've got Charles Martinet, why not just use him? It's like they're not getting the guy who's gone let's go for the past like 25 years in fucking Nintendo games doing tiny little sound bites to be the lead actor in a giant Hollywood movie. I'm sorry, it's not happening, but
he's put the work in.
He has put the work in, but there is a difference between basically a big Hollywood studio appreciating the work you've done and giving you a cameo, as is the case of Charles Martinet, and saying, do you know what, we're going to anchor our multi-million-dollar enormous license from Japan thing on this dude. I mean, it ain't going to happen. If he weren't dead, I'd hope for a small cameo by Captain Lou Albano, who I believe was the first ever Mario. He was certainly the first live action one in the States. When they used to have the Mario Brothers Super Show, it's him and some really creepy looking dude. They used to introduce the cartoon, which then wasn't actually voiced by them, which is really funny. But yeah, I am quite excited for what they'll do as the movie, but I'm more excited for the voice cast than how I think the movie will turn out, purely because of the studio that's working on it. I think they'll put out something more interesting than, say, Pixar or Disney would do with a license, but they don't really do licenses anyway. But I do find, I'm sure it was DreamWorks. Whoever it was, I find them to be a bit of a mixed bag anyway.
Yeah.
Do we know if it's a brand new adventure, or are they retelling the main story?
The main story?
There isn't a main story.
Princess gets kidnapped.
Yeah, there's a main story.
In the castle.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And then the Mario brothers have to go rescue her.
What?
I was just...
I mean, as far as story arcs go,
I mean, yeah, but is it? What I'm saying is, are they like bringing something else to it? Are they bringing like a brand new adventure to it, or are they?
No idea.
They've
literally, no, they've literally just announced it. So
right, okay. I hope it's a new thing. I hope they're bringing it forward somehow, rather than just retelling the same sort of background story.
Yeah. I'm hoping it's more in line with the games because they did. I'm hoping they do something really similar to the games because the games don't have a lot of backstory or plot or anything. So I quite want to see the classic Mario and his brother. They find a weird warp pipe because they're actually plumbers, and then they wind up in a weird kingdom, and then they find out that a princess has been kidnapped, and they have to like kind of understand how, like, they start eat a mushroom and get big, and they like learn all these things for the first time, and they meet Toad, and I think all that stuff would be really fun to explore in a movie because it's never really been done in the games.
Yeah.
Like the game with the most plot, the Mario game with the most plot is Mario Sunshine, and by and large the plot of that game is there's some graffiti around, and there's someone that's obviously not Mario but looks a bit like Mario who has done it. Mario, go clean the graffiti. Eventually Bowser.
What was the... Didn't they do like a live action Mario?
Oh yes.
Yeah, that's the Bob Hoskins one I was saying about. I love it. It's a guilty pleasure. It's fucking terrible, but it's also fucking delightful.
Yeah.
Monkey! That's a great movie.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper is fucking Bowser, and he's just like this weird 80s prick. It's just so good. But just a correction. It's being made by Illumination Entertainment. That's who it's. So they did like the Despicable Me movies, The Secret Life of Pets, the Lorax.
Wow.
What else have they
A
done?
few big ones.
Yeah, so they did the Minions movie, which was fucking terrible. But yeah, like their back catalogue is a bit of a mixed bag. I really like the Despicable Me movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you could want for someone better, but there are certainly a lot worse studios out there that could have been with. So yeah, we'll see what they come up with.
Nice. Well, I've been going back to my childhood. So recently,
Adam!
Yeah, I know.
Surely you're going to lead the podcast with "I've perfected time travel."
No.
Like leaving this deep into like after the first hour. Come on.
Emotionally, maybe.
Okay. Maybe use that as the title for this episode. See what happens.
Because my two children, they became a little bit ill. Just some general colds. Don't worry, we did all the tests. It's not COVID and all that. Just some general colds. But I had to stay home with them, so they were basically pretty much both of them plugged up under a blanket in front of the TV, and just me nursing them all day. So they obviously had all their programs on, and then selected something. He's my oldest, and he selects this cartoon, and all I hear is "By the power of Grayskull." I was like, "What? That's He-Man. I know that's He-Man." And I looked, and it was He-Man. I was like, "I've never seen this He-Man before." And it's
Is it the new one?
It's a new one, released on the 19th, I believe it was. Just check that. Yes, 19th. They're saying 19th of September that got released on Netflix.
Oh wait.
Whoa there.
Hang on.
Whoa.
Also,
is that the part
more? That's what I'm just
it's a cartoon.
looking up.
It's a cartoon.
No, the part two. Previously on
we
this
have always
podcast,
discussed
we've chatted
this.
about this.
Yeah,
Me
quite
and
a
Shaun
lot.
have already watched that.
What the
we did
new cartoon?
really.
Yeah,
Yeah, we did a whole long bit about it.
What that was that? I didn't think that was the one you was on about.
it may have been podcast number 1.
Yeah, no, the second half of that's not come out yet.
Because this was released, it's saying this was released on Netflix. It got announced on the 16th of September and then got released on the 19th of September.
Can't be the same one then,
So yeah,
unless you're in a different country to me.
that's what I mean. So I didn't think it was the same thing. It's just been released.
Did it look like the old one? Is it the same sort of storyline? Is the characters the same? What happened? How did you feel about it? Tell us. Discuss.
Well,
I need to know what this is.
I really got into it, and it shows initially Adam as a little boy who gets he's like lost his memory and this tribe pick him up, and it's got the I forget all the names. I'm sorry, I'm terrible with names, but it's got the big green cat there,
Battle cat,
Cringer.
yeah, and
depending,
he can talk, and they're defending their tribe against a load of robots and stuff, and then it gets
the old one.
Yeah,
No, it's not. This is really weird. I've found it. Right, I found it on.
Yeah, there you go.
It's a computer-generated one, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a reimagining of the 1983 series.
That's it.
So while there is obviously Revelation going on, this is a presumably completely separate thing.
Yeah. I mean, the art style was.
Oh yeah. Here we go. In 2019, Netflix announced 2 Masters of the Universe projects were in development: an adult-oriented series, which was a direct sequel, and to the original show, which was the Kevin Smith one.
Yeah.
And a second one, which got very little buzz and just appears to have dropped without.
But I tell you what, I really got into it. And it got to the point where, like, my eldest was sort of saying, I'm going to switch cartoons. And I was like, no, watch the next one. You know, you might enjoy it.
Is it serialized, or is each episode like a self-contained one like the original one?
No, it's serialized. Each one follows on from the next one.
Oh, cool. I might give that a go, because it's kind of weird. I've got a weird thing with He-Man in that even as a kid, I kind of knew the show was shit.
Yeah.
But I really liked the characters. I really, really liked the toys. So I had all of that stuff, and then when He-Man, unless my timing's off, but I think I was into like He-Man a bit for a couple of years. And then I watched Ghostbusters for the first time, and everything was Ghostbusters for like 5 or 6 years. Like, it was very easy for me to put He-Man away, which is why Revelation struck such a great chord with me, because it was like, it's almost like my little child mind is like, this is kind of the show I thought I was watching back then and wanted to be watching back then. I'm quite interested to give this a watch to see if I actually care about like more straight vanilla He-Man.
Yeah, it's
because I don't think I could go back watch the original episodes. But if, as you say, this is a new take, but on that classic formula, I think I'll give it a shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like I'll say like it looks like modern cartoons. They haven't like gone backwards or anything. And yeah, as far as I can tell and as far as I can remember, because it was quite a long time that I watched the original, it seems the same sort of storyline, and just like as you say, like I'm reimagining. And yeah, we watched. Basically, made my children watch through the whole entire first series. And now,
a little concerningly, the showrunner and lead writer is Brian Q. Miller, who was the showrunner for the worst Smallville, which was all of the first 7 seasons of Smallville. It didn't get good for 8 years. I'm still bitter about it. I was kind of like watching it going, this is okay. I mean, I really like Superman, so I kind of have to watch this. And then season 8 comes on, and I'm like, oh my god, it's finally quite good. Yeah. I mean, it's still not amazing, but it's quite good. This is amazing, comparatively. And it had a great last couple of seasons.
Well, it left this season. I ain't going to spoil it for you if you're going to watch it. But it left it on like quite a big cliffhanger, and I'm now.
I assure you, it didn't leave it on as big a cliffhanger as fucking Revelation did. Go watch that, mate. It'll blow your socks off.
Well, based on what you said
awesome.
based on what you said about it, close, close to that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
And so now I'm sort of itching for for like a cartoon to come out, like for the second season that I watched as a kid. I'm just like, this is nuts.
Oh wow!
But yeah, my kids are into it, so I've got a good excuse. So.
Oh, that's very cool. I might give that a watch. I think I'll give that a shot at the weekend or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but on a completely different note, I've watched this other thing on that's on Netflix as well that completely blew my mind in such a weird way, and I can't stop watching it. It's called Squid Games.
Squid Games?
Yeah.
Okay.
Quickly typing. Hang on.
Yeah.
Although I've got caught out of this before.
It's number one in the UK at the minute on Netflix.
I don't recognise it.
And no, it's the idea of it is complete. It's dubbed. I will warn you. And sometimes not.
Oh, I'm there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, into English. So some of the words I know obviously are longer than the English words. So just after the English actor stops speaking, you get a little bit of lip movement.
Yeah.
So you know,
that's how dubbing works.
Yeah, the normal. But if you can sort of look past that, it's so weird. It kind of intrigues you. So the idea is you've got all these down and outs, like, or just people really like bad on their luck, and they're like in masses of debt. They owe loan sharks, that they owe the banks. You know, they are rock bottom, and these the main guy that you sort of follow is sitting on I think a subway bench. After taking his daughter out for her birthday, and the parents are split up, and he hasn't got a lot of money, obviously, to treat her for her birthday. So just before that, he gambles some of his mum's money on horses, and he actually wins, and that's how it's introduced. And he then, obviously, with that money, you're thinking, oh, okay, now he's really going to spoil her. So he calls her up and he says, yeah, you can have whatever you want. Seconds after that, he bumps into this lady. Automatically, I'm thinking, he's just got robbed. And then after that, these loan sharks come into running after him into a toilet, a public toilet, and beat the absolute crap out of him and say, you know, sign this document, basically signing your life away. So he obviously signs it, realises he's lost the money as well. So now he's like really down and out. He's got very little money left, to the point where when he won the money, he actually tipped the girl who like behind the desk who made the bet. And so he actually went back up to the desk and went, could I have that tip back? And basically got the tip back, like really rock bottom. And so now he's trying to treat his daughter. You kind of feel sorry for him a bit. He's trying to treat his daughter to this birthday, and he goes with the last of his money. He goes to one of them like grabber machines, and there are these present boxes in there, all wrapped up. And this this kid actually shows him how to win. And so he wins this and he goes, yes, right, I've got a present. Excellent. I'm thinking, you should really look in that box and find out what's in it. But he doesn't. And he obviously gives it to her for her birthday. And she opens up and it's a gun. And this like little girl's like maybe, I don't know, 8, 9 maybe. And you're thinking, oh, right, how are you going to explain this one out? And he actually tries to say, well, women need protection these days. And I thought, you need a bit of protection. And then she pulls the trigger, but ends up being a lighter. Like, it's a cigarette lighter. So it becomes even worse. And it's just this comedy of, like, really bad errors that I think is meant to be serious, but you end up laughing at it. So it all leads to this salesperson. This isn't ruining it at all for you, by the way. This is all just intro. So
I was wondering if it was going anywhere. Is this just the first episode? Or what?
Yeah. This is all in the first episode. Trust me, it's crazy. So, and you can't. That intrigued me, but you kind of need to get past that because I have heard a lot of people turn off from that point. Get past that because then it just gets mental. So this salesperson comes up to him. He's on this subway bench, as I said, and he goes, "How would you like to play a game?" And he's like,
"Whoa, I'll never do that."
Yeah, but imagine the kind of mood he's in. He's like, piss off. I'm not in the mood. And he's like, and then he opens up this briefcase. So this guy's all in a suit. He opens up this briefcase and there's like loads of money in this briefcase with these 2 envelopes. One blue envelope, one red envelope. And he goes, the game is red light, green light. And he looks at him and he's like, what? And he's like, yeah, play this with me. If you win, I will give you, I think it's 100,000 yen, I think it is. Is it yen? And he's like, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? And because the game is, you place one of the colours, you pick a colour and you place one of the colour envelopes on the ground and you chuck the other envelope at it, and the idea is you've got to flip it over. That's the game. It's like a real children's game. And so he's like, sure. All right, I'll give this a go. And it's, right, if I win, I give you this 100,000 yen. If I win, you give me 100,000. Bearing in mind, we all know he hasn't got any money. So he does it. He fails. So then this guy has a go. You automatically know he's going to do it. So he does it. And obviously he wins. So he goes, right, you owe me 100,000 yen. And you're thinking, this guy's luck really can't get any worse. And then he goes, yeah, about that. I haven't got it. And so this guy is like, all right, well, tell you what then. I'll change the rules a bit. For every 100,000 you owe me, I'll exchange it for a slap. And he's like, what? Yeah, I will slap you round the face if I win. And he's like, okay. So then he just gives this guy this almighty slap round the cheek. And at that point I'm thinking, what am I watching? And then he goes, all right, I'm going to go again. So I'm thinking, no, don't go again. What are you doing? And so then he tries again. And so then he gets slapped again. This kind of thing goes on. And he's like black and blue. Like, really black and blue. And then he does it the final time. And he actually wins. And then I'm now invested in this. And I'm like, all right, excellent. What are you going to do with the money? So he's now feeling on top of the world. But just before he goes, the guy goes, if you're interested in playing a more serious game, like more games like this, to earn even more money, big money, call this number. And he gives him a card. Cut long story short, he calls the number. And This is all in the first episode, I assure you. And
I don't think there's a lot of. I don't think we need to watch the first episode after this.
this is, believe it or not, this is all intro. It really is all intro. It's
No. And I'm sure there's a lot of longer shots of establishing how desperate this dude is.
Yeah.
You basically run it off like a comedy.
It's one of them things that's meant to be serious, I think, but you kind of look at it and you just laugh at it because it's funny. I don't know if it's. I'm pretty sure it's not meant to be funny. So
described as survival. Mysterious survival game with deadly twists and consequences. I assumed it was going to be something like The Running Man or something. Sets it up here.
You say that. Well, so beyond this,
the way
he
was describing it at first, I thought it was like an actual just Korean game show. They were just importing over. It's just like a weird thing.
Kind of.
It
really twists. So he ends up in this people caravan and they smoke him and put him to sleep. And then he wakes up in this massive room with, I think it's 456 others. And they're all in bunk beds. These masses of bunk beds. And these guys come out in these red suits with masks on, with these shapes on their masks. You later find out, depending on the shape, depends on the hierarchy of the person. So
okay, well, don't go into too much.
No. But I've got to explain this bit to you because this is. It won't spoil it, but this is the reason why I'm saying it. So it goes into it, and then they turn around and say, "Okay, this is the deal. We're going to play a game, a whole series of games, and whoever is the winner at the end will win all of the money." And so someone goes, "How much money?" And they go, "We'll tell you after the first game." So they're like, "All right." Some people ask more questions. They go into it, and the first game, you're thinking it's going to be something else, but the first game is, now, I can't remember the English name of this children's game, but it's the one where you get one person at the front who turns around with his back, and the rest of you have to get to that person, and then if they turn around and spot you
what's
moving,
the time, Mr. Wolf?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you. I've been trying
to
think of that for ages. So yeah, that's the game. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? They call it something completely different.
They probably give it its Korean name.
Yeah, probably.
Does it relate to squids in any way at any point?
Well, they go.
Oh, sorry.
Really? Is this the game we played as kids? And the main guy you're following is like, yeah, I think it is. So these two dudes at the front are quite cocky, are like, oh, I'll bet you 4,000 yen that I can get there first. And they're like, okay, so this guy, he runs for it. All the rest are sort of looking on, thinking, what's going to happen? This robot girl turns around, sees him move, and all of a sudden, he gets sniped through the head, and he dies. And then you're like...
But you won't spoil it for us, will you?
No. This isn't spoiling it, believe me. And you're like, what the hell? And then it goes on from there. So, from first watching it, you're like, this is just some, like, down and out kind of story, like, bottom to hero type thing. But it's not. It just completely twists it on its head to this, like, random meeting of these people who all want to win this money because they're desperate for this money, and all of a sudden now they're fighting for their lives, and
and then it goes battle royale. So how did you, like, if you knew nothing about it, just out of interest, how did you come to watch it?
Well, what I do,
presumably it's an 18 or something, so I'm guessing the kids are in bed. You've now watched He-Man. What else is on Netflix? Oh, this sounds like a delight.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was when I flick through Netflix, I always go to the top option, which is top 10 in the UK, and obviously this is I don't know if it still is, but this is number 1 in the UK. So I was like, what's that about? So I just flicked on it, and then it gave this trailer, and I was about to switch off of it, but then it shows the bit about this kid getting shot through the head, which is why I know it's not spoiling it for you, because that's what I've just described. And
not anything I'm looking at.
And I'm like, what the hell? Like, so I thought, I've got to watch this now. I've got to watch it. And there's so many times where I was going to switch off, but I was like, no, this is. I need to know what happens. I need to know, and it was just one of them things. And I've ended up really into it, and now I'm like watching it through to the end, really. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah, random, very very random. If you're after a bit of a random night, watch it. It is weird.
I'm not going to describe in quite as much detail as that, but I've just finished Dragon Ball Super, which means I have actually almost completed, I should say, my original goal of watching all of Dragon Ball this year. And Dragon Ball Super is a fucking delight from start to finish. But the final season is 40 odd episodes of 20-minute episodes, and all it is one giant battle royale.
Oh,
how that never gets boring is beyond me, but it's some of the most ridiculous and awesome shit I've ever seen. And I'm really pleased, because with Dragon Ball, my thing has always been that Dragon Ball Z was the one I really liked. I tried watching the original Dragon Ball about 15 years ago, and I got into one of the longest sagas and got bored, which I shouldn't have. Doesn't matter. If you get bored, you get bored, but I should have stuck with it, because it gets really good after that long section. But yeah, and I'd watched a bit of Dragon Ball GT, which wasn't very good, so I was a bit concerned for Dragon Ball Super, because there was 131 episodes of it. Yeah. But I really liked the movie since it came back, and a really weird thing, because the first 2 arcs of Dragon Ball Super are retellings of the movie. Right. So the movie's 2 hours and an hour and 40, and they stretched the first one out over 13 episodes, I think it is. I think they're both about 13 episodes. It's what can you possibly do with that much more time? And it's wait, you just fill it with absolute joy. You fill it with smaller character moments and really cutesy stuff, and they extend the battles to make them more ridiculous. And it's just, yeah, Dragon Ball Super is just an absolute delight. It's as charming as Dragon Ball's ever been. The fights are as awesome as they've ever been. It's more ridiculous than it's ever been. And yeah, I've been really pleased to finish that off. So when I finished that, I've had a bit more spare time. I've watched season 5 of Rick and Morty, which, to be honest, wasn't very good. I really liked Rick. I guess I'm echoing everyone here. I really liked the first 3 seasons of Rick and Morty. 4 was a bit down, and this one really had some shit in it. Yeah. But there was some good stuff in there too. It's not got to the point of like a Family Guy where there's 3 or 4 years and then it actually becomes unwatchable. It's just still quite watchable, but yeah. I think some episodes in this season are at the point where I'm like, well, if there's more of that next season, I'm out. But yeah, it's a shame things certain things have a shelf life, and Rick and Morty was always going to have a shelf life. But it is funny that something I consider with perhaps, I think you could argue that if you can't follow them into other genres, maybe Archer turned away from its core concept. I think that's a fair assessment. Yeah. But they're in season 12 now, and I don't think the quality of Archer has ever dropped at all. BoJack Horseman, that did 5 seasons.
6, I think.
No, 6, wasn't it? Yeah, it was 6.
I've finished it since our last podcast.
Oh.
That, if anything, got better and better as it went on. Cool, we'll circle back to that. We're 3 seasons into Final Space. I think that's the quality there is as high as it's always been. I know Rick and Morty lost one of the 2 lead writers. I think one of them's doing his own show, so isn't co-writing, but he's still doing the voice of the main guys. You'd kind of assume they were still bouncing ideas. I don't know, but it's not. I got through it, and it wasn't great, so I'm a bit concerned for the future. But on the other hand, it's not something I've ever been heavily invested in it. So if I stop watching it, I stop watching it. And the other thing, sorry, anyone else got any thoughts on Rick and Morty? Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent there.
I only ever saw the first episode, and I had nothing against it, but I just never carried on. I always assumed it'd take up a lot of my time, so I didn't commit.
Wow.
I have to pick and choose what I watch. It took me years to watch BoJack. It took me years to watch other things. I've got loads of things waiting to be watched. He's only just got around to He-Man. Don't have a go at me.
Hey, this one's brand new. I just will say that.
And I also watched the final season of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, which was just a nice warm hug.
God, I started. I carried on with that. I'm still quite early in the seasons of that, but I did watch another 1 episode, which I think I might have seen before, which is queued up as the next one to watch in Netflix. But I'm fairly sure I've seen it before that one, so I'm getting back into that.
Cool. Well, this is what I've been going for these 20-minute shows. So I pretty much only watch TV when I eat, so that's basically 20 minutes to half hour a day.
Yeah.
So now that Dragon Ball is done, Dragon Ball I've been watching at the weekends and stuff to get through it. And I'm actually going to do Dragon Ball Kai as like a little bonus to myself. So I will literally have watched everything Dragon Ball by the end of the year. Yes, even the shitty American movie, I'm going to do that. But yeah, it's now time to catch up. And, it's to get through 10 episodes of Rick and Morty is 10 days. It's nothing, is it? So... and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the first season was legitimately great, and since then it's just been a sitcom, but it's still been a really funny sitcom. So I can take something that's good and positive over something. I don't always have to be watching something, out there or challenging or whatever. I like, I might not like Friends, but I think something like Brooklyn Nine-Nine hit about that level of familiar characters. It's all nice and quite, no one's ever going to get hurt and shit like that. And I enjoyed it. I found it very pleasant to watch, and I like most of the actresses in it. So
good. We've used the word pleasant a lot today. I think we're calming down in our old age, I think. We like this because it's pleasant, inoffensive.
Oh, wait, let's chuck it in there. Pleasant, that will be the word. If you've listened this far, we're not necessarily wrapping up right now, but if you've listened this far, put the comment or tweet us or whatever, the word pleasant to prove you've listened this far. Carry on, Jason. That's not a new rebooted and quite
Sid James.
Boring Carry On movie. Yeah.
Carry On Jason? What, with the Argonauts? That could be a thing. I could see that happening. Kenneth Williams and his golden fleece.
They just all work in the same high street chain as you and order from the same takeaways and stuff. Like Hattie Jakes works at McDonald's and Sid James is one of your customers. It's just, well, they're all holograms now or CGI things. But, they're still there. It's all old voice kips. Kenneth Williams comes in to pick bits up for his mother, Oh, no, that's really sad. I shouldn't have said that.
What? Is it?
I was confusing Kenneth
thing?
Williams. Kenneth Williams lived, by most accounts, a bit of a sadder life than he put out, and basically he was devastated and he lived with his mother for most of his life, and when she died, it broke him kind of. I thought for a minute that was a part of his Carry On characters, and then I remembered actually no, that was his real life and was really sad. Now I've bummed myself out. I apologise.
I think there is. I think it keeps popping up for me on Netflix at the moment. I think it's Fantabulosa. I think is his life story.
Oh right.
That's what I'm trying to think who plays him. I think it's what's his name? I should be looking this up, but I'm not looking up.
Matthew Horn.
No, it's not Matthew Horn.
I like Matthew Horn. I think he'd do a good Kenneth Williams.
Hang on, is Matthew Horn who I think Matthew Horn is? Is the guy from Gavin and Stacey? No?
Yes.
Oh, fine. Okay.
It was Gavin, I believe.
Not Stacey. Okay.
Or if you will, Gavlar.
I won't, but okay. No, not him. I don't see him. He was okay in the latter series of Teachers. He was okay.
He was in the last season of Teachers.
I liked him in Gavin and Stacey. I do like some Gavin and Stacey. However, I don't see him.
I liked him in the Royal Family. He was the Roman Empire. Sorry, the Roman Empire.
I don't think he's got the range. To be fair. Anyway, not the point. No, I'm thinking of a much more versatile actor who I still haven't started typing. I should probably start typing to find out.
Why are you shitting on Matthew Horn if you've only
I'm
seen
not
him in like
shitting
two
on Matthew
things?
Horn. I
like Matthew Horn.
I like Matthew Horn in what he's been in. I like him in.
He was in a Maccabees video.
He may have been in a Maccabees video. He was definitely
He was
in
really
that,
good.
Why can't I think of names at the moment? What's the actress?
Welcome to my world.
Catherine Tate. He was in that. He played her grandson a lot. He was funny in that. He does lots of things. But for some reason, I don't see him playing such a wonderful thing as the guy from Fantabulosa, which, of course, if it ever freaking loads, would be Michael Sheen. Michael Sheen is a versatile actor.
You're talking all this time just to wait for the computer to catch up.
Well, no, I'm talking that time to wait for me to actually start looking, and didn't. Anyway, yes, Fantabulosa apparently is a good life story.
I
of Kenneth Williams.
Michael Sheen is a very, very good actor.
Oh yeah.
I don't think I've ever I'm not a big Terry Pratchett guy, and I'm not a big fantasy guy, and I'm really not a big Christian mythology guy. But fuck me, Good Omens was great. I absolutely loved that.
That's getting a sequel, I think.
It is, yeah. I think Gaiman was a bit hesitant to do it because obviously Terry Pratchett's passed on, but he wanted to carry it on, I'm guessing, in part to keep Pratchett's memory alive, and in part because he's probably got a good idea. It's not for the money. The dude is fucking minted.
Well, Sandman's coming out now as a Netflix show, isn't it?
Two Sandmen. Yeah, it's a big audio drama they've recently done as well.
Oh, keep doing two things.
I will reserve judgment until I see Sandman, but everything is pointing to it being positive. I'm quite excited for it. And if it's not good, I don't care because it doesn't hurt the comics. The comics are still a masterpiece. So.
No, if it's raising their profile, if anything, more people will search them out. Unless it's really
true.
Bad.
Yeah, that's the problem. The problem becomes that in popular culture, the more watched thing becomes the zeitgeist for the consciousness of it's like 60s Batman. That's still pretty much a lot of people's go-to Batman, even though that's not very Batman. It was very Batman at the time, but that was quite a short period. So if the show sucks and is really... It's like fucking that Scarlett Johansson Ghost in the Shell movie. Like, to a lot of people, that's going to be Ghost in the Shell movie. And that is literally the worst Ghost in the Shell thing of all of the Ghost in the Shell things. And I include that weird strain of Ghost in the Shell cholera.
I think we're living in a time now where everyone's a critic and can get their opinions out immediately. So something like your Ghostbusters revival, not the new one, the other one that came out a few years ago, or something like a bad comic book film adaptation, instantly the comic fans are on it. There's already a negative thing about it. people have their opinions, and people who've never read the comic or seen the film will already have a judgment that it's bad. And actually, I should probably read the comic. So I think in this day and age, everyone's a critic, and you generally get led to.
I
general
completely
consensus.
disagree with that.
Of course, you do.
I think that is only an echo chamber of the small people who would be interested in that to begin with. I think in the grander sense of the popular culture, nobody ever hears any of this. Like, I never met anyone who wasn't a big Ghostbusters fan who cared about the 2016 remake. I think it's 2016.
Sounds right.
Who cared about that based on what people were saying about that movie before it came out, because they hadn't heard it. Like, it was a big storm of a teacup for people who follow comic book nerd websites and shit like that. But your average person might have seen a little bit in the sun saying, oh, some people are against this reboot, but they wouldn't have understood the context or why these people were
that's actually
were angry
a very good
about
point
it,
in that
which was
status.
by and large, don't touch my childhood memories. I don't like things that are different. I gave 2016 Ghostbusters a shot. I went in there really enthusiastic and excited. I liked everyone involved. It's a shit movie. I don't say that because it's touching my childhood thing, because Ghostbusters is no less perfect an original movie because the other one exists.
Right. I take back what I said. I've now reviewed my opinion of the Ghostbusters, how that whole thing evolved, and yes, there was a lot of negativity before it even came out, and people had views, and there was people, I think like you and me, who said, we'll see what it's like, and it came out, and I don't think I particularly thought it was amazing, and it was nothing to do with the casting or anything, as far as I can tell. It was just didn't work for me. So yeah, I take back what I said. Sometimes you get a lot of negative critics come on there even without any proof. So yeah, that's me on the fence again. I was, for a moment I had the thought, and now I've taken it back.
Yeah, I mean, I was as much as anything. My knee-jerk reaction to Ben Affleck being cast as Batman was incredible, almost called in sick from work anger.
Oh, wow.
And then by the time I was basically driving to work, fucking furious. And by the time I'd got to work, I was like, "Look, all you're doing is you're thinking Daredevil, and that is Ben Affleck." Whereas I knew I'd seen Ben Affleck in some really good shit by the time he was announced. And I'd always liked Ben Affleck. I just hated the roles he picked. And by the time I got to work, I'd completely talked myself into, being a normal, rational human being, rather than being, like, personally insulted by a casting choice that really turned out, depending where you stand on it, and if you dislike him, you're wrong, really fucking great. He was an excellent Batman.
Okay. So now you have your own echo chamber in your car on the way to work.
I do, and but if I'd have been on if I'd have gone straight on a comic website, I'm more rational than I was more rational, but I'm less. Let's just say I'm less passionate in that kind of stereotypically slightly obnoxious nerd way than I was in my 20s. Because in my 20s, I'd immediately been on message boards and would have all been winding ourselves up by why this is the worst thing that could have possibly happened. Whereas actually, it's a bit of casting. Maybe wait till you see like a little bit about the movie. You can get the idea that you're not going to like something, and that's fine. But getting wound up like it's the end of the world or studying cancel petitions and shit like that is just, I don't know, a waste of your efforts, a waste of your passion. I still get that pang, that personal pang when a Tom Holland Spider-Man movie comes out and it's like, this is a really, really good movie and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Pity it's not fucking Spider-Man. But to a lot of kids, that is Spider-Man, and that is a valid interpretation, and that doesn't stop it being a good movie. Like I said, I wouldn't have liked pretty much any Batman movie if I were that much of a fanboy, because he kills in all of them, which, is a really fucking big deal in the comics. But I forget how we got here. But I enjoyed talking.
I'm glad you did. I enjoyed listening. We were talking about... I don't know what we're talking about. On a slight tangent.
We was talking about Terry
somehow got there
Pratchett.
from Kenneth Williams. Yeah.
You talking about Terry Pratchett, and then you
Because
just went-
someone randomly said the phrase "carry on, Jason." That's how we got there.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
Nice.
man. That's
Good. It's good
that's
to work
one of
back.
my favourite little thought exercises. That was really fun.
Oh,
Yeah, I just enjoyed listening to you two, really.
Yeah. If you're a fan, we need a Venn diagram of how we got from that starting point to the end point and how everything crossed over into it. And then put it into a puzzle and strap a bomb to me or Jason and we'll try and extricate ourselves from the mania. Adam,
Yo.
has a project ever been announced that you've been pissed off about? Like it's hit something in your fandom, or let's try this.
Yeah.
As we all know, our man Adam is we're just supporting artist.
I did have the thing about the whole Ghostbusters thing. I thought, you can't touch Ghostbusters, but then
I mean, they already did with Ghostbusters 2, to be fair.
yeah, but then I went
And I
into
love Ghostbusters 2, but it's not the first.
Yeah, I mean, I went into it with an open mind, and in the end, I was all right about it. I was like, yeah, okay, but they've tried to touch a few things that I believe shouldn't be touched.
Just before we move on, just on that, did you play Ghostbusters the video game, the 2009 one? It was recently re-released.
I didn't know. Any good?
Oh, play that. It's Ghostbusters 3. It's written by the guys. It's got all with the exception of Sigourney Weaver, and there is a story behind that. It's got all the voices. Oh, and not Rick Moranis because he was retired at the time. But yeah, it's got all the voices. It's got a very Ghostbusters feel. It's got a very Ghostbusters plot. It's got the Ghostbusters humour. And basically, you get to run around for 8 hours with Peter, Winston, Egon, and Ray telling you how great you are, which just, like, every childhood part of me is just like, oh, it's like my four dads telling me I'm the best, and I'm also fighting the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. This is the greatest thing I've ever played. No, but it's like got the score from the earlier movie, and then more music to sound like it's from the score. Like, if you're a Ghostbusters fan, I would say it is a better Ghostbusters sequel than Ghostbusters 2, which is not to disparage Ghostbusters 2 because I love Ghostbusters 2, but it is it's got the room to breathe, it's got a bigger story, it ties a lot of stuff and a lot of the lore back from the first movie. It's really, really strong. I really, really liked it. It's also a perfectly competent and enjoyable third-person shooter.
Okay. Yeah.
But you've got like all the sound effects of you've got the proton pack, so you've got all the sound effects. You have to wrangle the ghosts, and then you lay the trap. Oh, it's so good! It's so good.
Okay, yeah, I'll give it a go.
Oh, highly recommend.
Yeah.
You probably get it for a tenner.
Probably.
I never played it. I always wanted to. I always hoped that we could do it. I know they don't. It's not. I always wanted it that we could do a multiplayer version of it for the channel, but I don't think it was multiplayer, was it? It was just the one.
Yeah. Yes, co-op.
Is it?
Yeah.
How many?
I'm sure it's co-op.
Oh, okay. Well, anyway, we never did it.
I might be wrong. I don't have my case in front of me.
It don't matter.
It's so good, though.
You won't play Castlevania with me. I'm not playing Ghostbusters with you. It's fine.
But on your original question,
yeah, sorry.
I get more pissed off at things that get cancelled after one season. That really bugs the life out of me. It happened with there was this what's it? Magic Circle, I think it was called. Something Circle. So anyway, it was about a witch. It was about a witch, and it was all like the magic stuff.
Was it porn?
It sounds like Magic Circle.
No, but it was really good. And after one season, like me and my wife were thinking, oh yeah, well, let's get on to season 2. Looking forward to release of season 2. No, sorry, we are going to cancel it. What the hell? I really hate getting into something like on the first season, loving it, and then hearing the announcement, yeah, we're going to cancel that. It just really winds me up.
It's not the Secret Circle, is it?
Oh, that might be it. That might be it.
Supernatural fantasy teen drama from the CW.
That might be it. Well done, Jason. I'm just typing.
Wow, and that's the CW. They've never met a show they've not run into the ground and run for like 5 years too long. Oh fuck, Smallville was on there.
I thought the main actress on that was really good as well.
Yes, who I'm going to say is Sarah Jessica Parker, but it's not her. But it's a similar name.
Yeah.
I had there a minute ago. Oh no, there's loads of people. Britt Robertson or Jessica Parker Kennedy. That's who I was thinking of. Natasha Henstridge is in it, as of the Species films.
Yeah,
yeah, I remember that name. I was really gutted when they cancelled Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles. That was a great show, and it got so much better with season 2. And there was an enormous cliffhanger, and they're like, okay, well.
Yeah, sorry, I just remember the name Britt Robertson.
Yes, she was in the opening scene of Wes Craven's Scream 4, if you wondered.
Oh, yes.
Which I don't remember.
There was a Scream 4?
I don't remember Scream 4, but yes.
I think I watched it on a whim once, so yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it was written Scream, SCRE4M. Nice.
So yeah, I get more pissed off about things that get cancelled. Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah, rather than people like remaking things. I think if they do a good job of it, you know, it's an okay thing. But there are certain films and genres you just shouldn't touch. Like I mean, not that anybody would be crazy enough to touch it, but Indiana Jones, I don't think you can touch that. That's the thing. That
there's a new one coming, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another movie coming.
No. I know, but isn't it like part 6 or something like that? They're not like remaking.
I see what you mean.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah. When they do like a remake,
they even did like a young Indiana Jones TV show.
They did.
I really enjoyed that. I really did. That was wasn't that River Phoenix?
No, he played him in the film version. He played young Indiana Jones in the 3rd film. And then they made the TV show of that character, which is played by somebody else.
Right. So yeah, no, I enjoyed the River Phoenix one. That was really good. But yeah, so I believe there's certain things you just, as I said, shouldn't touch.
Well, yeah, you saying stuff being cancelled. I've just remembered I did over the last month watch the final episode of Ash versus the Evil Dead, which is one of the greatest shows you could possibly watch. I don't know if it's still on Netflix. It was on Netflix.
Okay.
It's fucking awesome. But that ends on a ridiculous cliffhanger. And I don't know, because it's the Evil Dead guys, I don't know if that was a gigantic kind of wink to the audience of, we knew we were getting cancelled, so we were just going to do the most ridiculous, over-the-top cliffhanger we possibly could. Because they resolved pretty much everything else, but they left it so wide open for this awesome sequel, which is also a callback to the ending to the original ending to one of the movies that got cancelled and changed. And it was this whole thing. It's so amazing. And it's just like, yeah, you're never getting any more of this, but do you need more? I'm like, do you know what? I kind of don't. I'm kind of quite happily headcanoning like this crazy shit to get things back. And yeah, but I'd have loved more Ash vs. Evil Dead. That was fucking amazing show. I've never seen something, I don't think I've ever seen something so gratuitously gory and violent and so funny at the same time. Okay, should we wind up then?
Yep, wind up there. Good place.
This is Well, depending how much we cut out, this has definitely been the longest Dinocast so far. I determined I really want each one to be like a bit longer until they're eventually like 7 hours or something ridiculous. Purely because the idea amuses me of putting up a 7 fucking hour podcast.
Yeah, I actually had
insane.
This time around, I actually had to order my takeaway midway through our conversation at about 10 o'clock. Because otherwise they would close.
You've now eaten it, washed up.
Well, I was going to have something really healthy. I was going to make myself a salad, and like excellent. And then my wife gives me a call earlier before this podcast and says, "Oh yeah, I'm currently having pizza with my mum." Damn it! Why did you say pizza? So now, of course, I've ordered Domino's. It's just
nice. What have you got on it? Right. Okay. We need to know 3 things: what kind of base, what have you got on it, and what size. Oh, probably. Is there any side as well? Like, have you got like a garlic bread or something?
Okay, so
with that? What's going on?
Did you go for a meal deal of some kind?
I went for a deal. I went for a medium deal, a single person deal. I think they call it the triple at the minute. So medium pizza. I went for pepperoni passion.
Nice.
I do like myself a bit of pepperoni. Then I went for garlic bread, and then I went for Coke Zero, and then I added potato wedges on top of that.
God, very nice. Meal for a king there.
Yes. And then,
I'm not the biggest fan of Domino's, but yeah.
I'm
not, but it's one of the nicest near me. There's not a lot of pizza places around here, so there you.
What wins me over with Domino's, because I did exactly the same thing last night. I was on a Zoom call with my parents and my sister, and I didn't get a chance to eat before. So during that, I ordered Domino's, and it came just before the end. And I had so you get a side and a dessert and a pizza. And the main reason I get it is because you get the little cookies, and I love the little cookies. Like warm chocolate dripping cookies on the inside, and that makes a nice little dessert after I've finished. Well, not after I finished, because I still had the pizza today actually.
That sounds good.
It was good. And I had chicken wings.
I've never had those cookies, and I've heard good things.
I will sometimes get the whole thing just to get those cookies. That's the thing I'm craving, the cookies, and I'll order a pizza, and then that will last me a couple of days, the pizza. But the cookies is what I want, because I'm a cookie monster.
Stop! We'll get sued.
Or other monsters are available.
Henson Estate will come at us.
What's really bad about the situation is I had to message downstairs to my wife, who I know has fallen asleep on the couch, to answer the door to get my pizza.
That was it. Last night I got a message while I'm on this Zoom call from my housemate that just said, "Domino's is here." Went downstairs, it was all laid out on the kitchen top. Well, not laid out, he had left the boxes shut, he hadn't just left everything wide open.
Lovely. Right, so
what's that pizza?
What is our fake word?
Pleasant was one.
Oh, yeah, so we've given the real word. So you need to go back and listen back a bit if you want to find that.
So
what's the fake one going to be?
I reckon,
for people who aren't paying attention.
Just say, I'm exasperated.
The word for tonight will be Domino's.
That's right.
That's obviously the fake one. But, yeah.
And then much like getting a Domino's pizza, when you put that forward, you'll be a bit disappointed, but kind of full up.
Yeah, have we ever explained how this works properly?
We did in the episode 1, I believe.
Because I don't think it's clear to everyone, and we always say that was the fake word straight after we say it anyway.
So everyone knows.
It doesn't fool anyone.
Yeah, that's the whole joke.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a joke. Oh, sorry. I just thought we were a crap at humour.
Oh, my God.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah. I listen to many other podcasts, and one of them do that word thing. Yeah. And I think Adam came up with the idea independently, and we liked doing it. And then we thought it'd be funny one week we were arguing about something, and we came up with the idea of a fake word, and then immediately said it was a fake word, and thus we're still doing it. The joke continues.
I remember that fake word as well.
What was the fake word?
Blancmange.
Ah, blank mange. Yes.
I believe Jason came up with that as well.
I did. It's my go-to safety word. Sometimes it's applicable though, so you can't always use it. Sometimes there is blancmange.
Okay, say goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye,
everybody.
everybody.